Friends, just imagine an advanced machine that could teleport humans to any planet. However, in the end, a group of scientists ended up on a planet where very dangerous creatures existed. At the beginning of the story, we see Earth, where the environment has been completely destroyed by a dangerous virus. The remaining humans were living in bunkers underground. This virus was completely wiping out plants and trees, so all the scientists on Earth came together to create an antidote for the virus. Now we are introduced to Steve, a senior scientist, who is seen discussing something with his fellow scientists. Actually, Steve and his entire team had discovered an unknown machine called the White Spear. Steve's team speculated that this White Spear had been on Earth for many years and that it might have been left by aliens. After thoroughly investigating the White Spear, they discovered that it was a very advanced teleportation device. This means that with the help of the spear, humans could travel faster than the speed of light. After this, Steve says that by using this spear, we can transfer human civilization to a planet that is as habitable as Earth. The scientists even identified a planet named Jacker, where humans could live comfortably. Steve assembled a team to go on this mission and place the White Spear on the planet as soon as possible. After that, humans would be transferred to the Jacker planet one by one. Preparations for this mission began in full swing. On the day of the launch, Steve's wife Lisa wanted to talk to him. Actually, their relationship was not very good, so Steve, angry with Lisa, immediately set off for the launch with his team. They quickly reached outer space. On their spaceship, they had the White Spear, which they intended to place on the Jacker planet. To reach that planet, Steve and his companions used the speed of light, utilizing a black hole to travel there. However, after entering their destination, their spacecraft got stuck in a strange loop. After traveling like this for a while, they arrived in front of an unknown planet. This was not the Jacker planet, but an unknown planet in another galaxy. Steve and his companions had no idea where they were. All their directions and mapping details had suddenly become corrupt, meaning they couldn't return to Earth. Steve blamed a pilot named Peter, suggesting that he might have not followed the directions correctly, causing all this trouble. Peter denied this, but Steve continued to be angry with him. The astronauts were busy gathering all the details of the spaceship when, after a short while, they saw Peter's body floating in space. Peter was completely dead, and no one present had any idea who had done this. On the other hand, Steve suggested that perhaps Peter realized that all this happened because of him and then committed suicide. After getting details about the unknown planet in front of them, they found out that it could be quite suitable for human habitation. Therefore, without delay, Steve told his companions to land there, as they would now bring all humans to this planet with the help of the White Spear. Although the other astronauts did not agree with this, Steve was their boss, so they had to follow his orders. They all set off to land on that planet. The planet's atmosphere contained strange gases, causing significant problems for Steve's team as they attempted to land. Despite the difficulties, they managed to crash land and subsequently activated and placed the White Spear on the planet. Meanwhile, Richard, who was still aboard the spaceship, tried to figure out what had happened to Peter. He started reviewing all the camera recordings, and then he discovered something alarming that prompted him to urgently call Steve and the rest of the team. Richard, visibly scared, told Steve and his team to return to the spaceship immediately. When they checked the camera recordings as Richard suggested, they saw a very dangerous creature which had killed Peter. This creature was actually inside the White Spear and could now escape and attack everyone. At this point, an astronaut named Ryan accused Steve of hiding many facts about the White Spear from them. Ryan showed everyone a video on his system that revealed Steve conducting technical experiments with the White Spear. In the footage, some strange, human-like figures emerged from the spear, indicating that the White Spear not only functioned as a teleportation device but also produced dangerous entities. Steve, along with his colleague David, approached the spear unaware that the creature could break out of it at any moment. Shortly after, the creature indeed broke free, forcing Steve and David to run for their lives. They managed to reach their other companions, desperately trying to stay away from the creature. The creature emerged and damaged many of the lander's systems, forcing all the astronauts to proceed with extreme caution. Steve realized the grave mistake he had made and, along with the other astronauts, devised a plan to lure the creature near the engine. The idea was to ignite the engine and incinerate the creature when it came close. The other astronauts agreed with Steve's plan and set out to execute it. Steve cleverly lured the creature toward the engine, but when he signaled the team to start the engine, it failed to activate due to a technical malfunction, making the plan seem doomed. Steve managed to escape from the creature. At that moment, an astronaut named Leona tried to start the engine, and it suddenly worked, but the intense flames burned Leona to death. David and Steve managed to avoid the creature and get back inside the spaceship. However, just as the door was closing, the creature struck David's hand with one of its tentacles, infecting him with the virus carried by the creature. Steve frantically searched for a solution in the laboratory to cure David. Initially, Steve was unsure how to save him, but when he examined the creature's blood alongside David's, he noticed that David's blood was fighting the virus. Despite knowing he couldn't save David, Steve discovered how to cure the virus that had spread on Earth. This realization brought to mind the bracelet given to him by his wife, Lisa, before the mission began. Steve, who had angrily refused to accept the bracelet from Lisa, was suddenly contacted by Richard, who was in orbit around the planet. Richard informed him that the structure of the entire galaxy was identical to what their solar system looked like 1,000 years ago. This meant that all the astronauts had teleported 1,000 years into the past. The planet they were on was none other than Earth 1,000 years ago. Realizing this, Steve understood they had made a grave mistake by bringing the white spear and the creature with them. This meant they would never be able to return to their present time, and the virus currently spreading on Earth might never be eradicated. However, Steve came up with another idea. He had inscribed a code on the bracelet given by his wife, Lisa, which could help create the virus's antidote. He hoped that by changing things now, Lisa in the present time might see the changes and be able to create the antidote. Lisa was the only one capable of making the antidote. Meanwhile, the creature's virus started affecting David, turning him into a zombie. David shot and killed Ryan, and Steve was next. To save himself, Steve opened the spaceship door, allowing the dangerous creature to enter. As David was about to attack Steve, the creature killed David from behind. Steve had previously planted bombs in various places. He quickly exited the spaceship and detonated a blast in the section where the creature was, killing it. Now we are shown Steve's wife, Lisa, on Earth. She finds the bracelet Steve had inscribed with codes. Using these codes, Lisa manages to create an antidote for the virus, saving the entire population of Earth from extinction. This was exactly what Steve had hoped for, that Earth would be completely saved. Although Steve and his entire team didn't survive, their sacrifice allowed humanity on Earth to thrive and move forward. And with that, our story comes to an end.